Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make this Hello Fall wreath. These are the supplies that you'll need. So the first thing I'm going to do here is just make sure that I've picked out a font and a font size that'll fit nicely in the center of this 10 by 10 piece of wood plaque that I have. Now I'm holding my stencil that I've already used my Cricut machine to cut. If you have a Cricut machine, you know that it can cut out stencils. Now if you do not have a Cricut machine, that's okay. You can go to your local craft store and get the letter stencils or the word stencils and use that. It will work just the same. Here I'm just prepping my stencil so that I can place it onto the wood. So this is a vinyl stencil, so I'm going to peel it and stick it in the center of my piece of wood here. As you can see here, my stencil is securely placed in the center and I've already made sure there was no air bubbles. Now I've taken this makeup sponge and I'm going to put a little bit of the acrylic paint on it, and then I'm going to lightly dab the paint over the stencil. You don't want to put too much pressure because you don't want the paint to seep underneath the stencil. I found that using a makeup sponge gives it a more even coverage versus like using a foam brush or a paint brush, because when you use those two, I felt like then you can see the brush strokes. So a makeup sponge works just fine. It actually works really well. That's why I'm using the makeup sponge, and plus they're cheap. Once the paint dried, I went ahead and carefully removed my vinyl stencil. Because it is a vinyl stencil, I had to carefully remove it so that I don't peel off any paint. If you are using a letter stencil from the store that is not adhesive, make sure that you do tape it down and put pressure on it when you're painting over it, because you don't want the paint to seep underneath it. And then when you're all done, you would just carefully remove the tape and lift it up. Okay, so now that we have our pretty painted wording on the wood, I'm going to take my foam floral ring here and I'm just going to set it on top just to make sure that the wording is centered, and just to get a good idea of where I'm going to place this ring. So I do have a good idea of where I'm going to place the ring. Just make sure that when you're placing the ring on it, you have a good idea before you add the hot glue, because once you set it down, then that's it. So here I am, I'm just putting hot glue on one side of the ring, and you want to make sure you just put it all around. Don't put too much because you don't want it to melt the foam. Okay, so now that the foam ring is securely attached to the piece of wood, we can go ahead and take our fake flowers and start arranging them all around the ring. So as you can see, I already have all my fake flowers on my ring. If you look closely on the inside, you can still see the green foam ring, and then on the outside, on the sides, you can still see green. My flowers only cover the top part of the ring, so what I did was I took some fake leaves and I just hot glued it, and I just placed it on the side to cover the green, so that, you know, if you hang the wreath up, you won't be able to see the green foam. This is completely optional. I just decided that it was probably the easiest route because I had a lot of extra leaves left. If you want to add flowers instead of leaves, that's even better. I didn't have any more fake flowers, but instead I had leaves, so I'm like, oh, I'll just cover up the green spaces with a leaf, and it worked out great. And here is the final product. Doesn't it look fabulous, you guys? I love the vibrant colors. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I hung it on my door and it just stood out so nicely. Give it a try, and thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe.